Have you ever noticed that the most productive people you know always talk about their morning routines? They just don't mention the most important part, the sleep. And there's a scientific reason for why that is so important. If you understand what I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes, you'll reconsider the value of all of these morning routine videos. I spent 5 years testing the world's most well-known morning routines. Jocko Willink 4:30 a.m. routines, Robin Sharma's 5 rituals, Tim Ferriss's morning method. The result? Burnout at 28, 3 destroyed relationships, and the constant feeling that no matter how much effort I put in each morning, something was wrong. Of course, their routines weren't the sole reason for why those things happened, but I felt a night and day contrast after I fixed my sleep. So, I discovered studies from Harvard and Stanford that reveal something important. The battle for your day is decided between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. the night before. And you, just like me in the past, are probably losing that battle. We live in a culture obsessed with productive mornings. Waking up at 5 a.m. has become a status symbol. Entrepreneurs, CEOs, and productivity influencers all sell the same promise. Transform your morning, transform your life. And you tried. You bought the book, downloaded the app, set 3 alarms. The problem is that you're trying to fix the symptom. When you wake up tired, anxious, and mentally foggy, the damage has already been done over the last 8 hours. That happened while you were sleeping poorly, processing unresolved stress, and allowing your brain to enter the next day already drained. A longitudinal Stanford study followed 200 professionals over 15 years. The conclusion is that the quality of nighttime sleep predicted professional success with significantly greater accuracy than morning routines. So, you may be optimizing the wrong variable. In the next few minutes, we are going to change that. First, I'll break down the morning productivity myth with pure neuroscience, and you'll understand why you've often fallen short. Then, I'll reveal the chain reaction effect, how 15-minute decisions at night create significant differences over 10 years of life. A career without burnout, preserved relationships, stable mental health. And finally, I'll share 3 essential nighttime rituals, simple enough to start tonight at 10 p.m. Ready? Awesome. Let's start with what you don't know about your brain. There is a neurological process that takes place every night between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m., a window that the productivity industry ignores. Selling "wake up at 5 a.m." is simpler than explaining sleep biochemistry. The truth starts here. Morning routines are consequences, not causes. They result from decisions made 12 hours earlier. If your night was chaotic, emails until midnight, mindless scrolling, your brain's still processing work conflicts. Waking up at 5 a.m. doesn't solve the problem. You just wake up earlier to suffer earlier. Research consistently shows that getting 7-8 hours of quality sleep each night trumps elaborate morning routines when it comes to cognitive performance, stress regulation, and even relationship satisfaction. For example, studies comparing short sleepers, around 5 to 6 hours, to those averaging 7+ hours, find that adequate sleep leads to sharper decision-making, lower cortisol spikes during the day, and better overall mood and social functioning. Crazy, right? Think of someone you know. That person who naturally wakes up at 7 a.m. has no elaborate morning routine, but maintains energy throughout the entire day. Now think of that other person, the one who wakes up at 5 a.m., meditates, journals, works out, but is irritable by 3 p.m. The difference is probably that the first one protects their nights. The second compensates for bad nights with intense morning effort. And you cannot make up for a sleep deficit with discipline. What this means for you is that every time you sacrifice a good night's sleep to get more done, you're taking out a neurological loan with compound interest. And your body collects that debt throughout the entire day, with lack of focus, poor decisions, impatience with the people you love. But why does the brain work this way? Why do nights matter so much? The answer involves what happens when you never teach your nervous system to shut down. Listen, your brain has no automatic shutdown mechanism. You have to teach it to close out the day. Without that, you enter what neuroscientists call continuous threat mode. Your body produces cortisol as if you were still facing danger. And you are. Unanswered emails, unresolved conversations, unfinished projects. Your brain interprets all of it as a threat. In 1927, psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik discovered the Zeigarnik effect, Your brain clings to unfinished tasks, keeping them in mental RAM long after you want them gone. Modern brain scans confirm it. Unresolved loose ends keep prefrontal cortex activity humming even during sleep, the brain's planning and emotional control center. Translation: you may clock hours in bed, but your mind stays on shift. Research on professionals shows that working right up to bedtime spikes nighttime cortisol significantly higher than building in even a short wind-down ritual. That stress hormone doesn't just vanish by morning, it lingers, leaving you drained no matter how long you slept. These people wake up exhausted because their brain never fully powered down the night before. Picture two professionals, both sleep 7 hours. The first works until 11 p.m., shuts the laptop, and goes straight to bed. The second stops at 10:30 p.m., writes down 3 things they completed that day, sets an intention for tomorrow, and reads for 15 minutes. The same 7 hours of sleep, but the second person's brain entered a state of real recovery. The first one simply paused the stress. If you feel like you never mentally switch off, it's not a lack of discipline. It's poorly managed biology. Your nervous system needs clear signals that the day is over. Without those signals, you carry the previous day with you. Now you understand the mechanism, but what is the real cost of this? What happens when you ignore your nights for years? Well, my friend, the answer is significant. Nightly habits don't just influence the next day. Over years, they compound into very different health and career trajectories. Long-term studies, including Harvard's landmark adult development research, suggest that people with more regular sleep schedules and intentional evening wind-down practices tend to report better mental health, more satisfying relationships, and greater overall life satisfaction than those with chronically irregular, work-dominated nights. The exact numbers differ across studies, but the pattern is consistent. How you repeatedly close your day is one of the quiet levers shaping your long-term well-being and success. Let's imagine this scenario. Sarah, 35, a project manager. From age 25 to 35, she worked until 11 p.m. almost every night, answered messages in bed, and averaged 6 hours of sleep. At 32, she had her second panic attack, the end of a 6-year relationship. She might hear from her partners, "You're never really present." She changed companies 4 times looking for better balance, but the problem wasn't the company. It was how she closed out her days. Or Michael, 38, a software developer. At 26, he implemented one simple rule. At 10 p.m., the computer goes off. 10 minutes writing in a journal, just 3 sentences about the day. 20 minutes talking with his wife or reading. By 35, he was promoted to technical lead, not because he worked more hours, but because his decisions were consistently better. 0 burnout episodes, a solid marriage. He probably would say something that sums it all up. My colleagues think I wake up more motivated. The truth is, I go to sleep more prepared. To put into perspective, the math is simple but sobering. You live approximately 3,650 nights per decade. If each poorly managed night reduces your next day performance by 15%, you are losing 547 days of mental clarity per decade. That's a 1.5 years of wasted cognitive life. And you're trying to recover by waking up an hour earlier. You might be thinking, I get it, nights matter, but what do I actually do? I'm going to give you something different, not a list of 37 habits. 3 rituals, just 3, non-negotiable, backed by neuroscience and replicable in any lifestyle. The self-help industry overcomplicates things because complexity sells courses. But you just need 25 minutes, at most. Here it goes. Ritual 1, 10-minute shutdown. Grab a piece of paper or open the Notes app on your phone. Write down 3 things you completed today. They don't have to be big. Finished the report. Called my mom. Didn't let anxiety get to me in traffic. Your brain craves closure. It needs signals that some loops have actually been closed. Then, write 1 sentence about tomorrow. Not a to-do list, an intention. Tomorrow, I want to be present in the 10 a.m. meeting. Or, tomorrow, I want to start that project I've been putting off. Research from Baylor University suggests that a few minutes of structured writing about upcoming tasks before bed can help people fall asleep faster, likely because it offloads worries and unfinished business from working memory. In other words, you're freeing up mental RAM, telling your brain, these things are on paper now, they don't need to spin in my head tonight. Now the second ritual, 15 to 30 minutes of social decompression. Most people get this wrong. You think you need to unwind alone after a stressful day. So you open streaming platforms, social media, online videos. But passive screen consumption doesn't decompress your nervous system. It just delays the processing. Neuroscience shows that genuine social interactions, or active, enjoyable activities, reduce cortisol more efficiently than passive entertainment. That means a real conversation with your partner, not about bills or logistics, about anything that makes you both laugh. Call a friend, play guitar, play with your dog, cook something you enjoy. The rule? It needs to involve active presence, not passive consumption. Now, the third and last ritual, 5-minute preparation for tomorrow. Morning decisions are mentally costly. Every small choice, what to wear, what to eat, which task to start with, draws on the same limited pool of attention and self-control you need for real work. Research on decision fatigue shows that as the number of decisions you make accumulates, the quality of your later decisions tends to drop. You default more, procrastinate more, and get drained faster in the afternoon. The solution is simply eliminate unnecessary choices the night before. Lay out your clothes, decide on breakfast, write down the first task you'll tackle. You're shifting that cognitive load to a moment when you're not under time pressure and protecting your brain for the decisions that actually matter. It sounds simple, and for many people, it really does make the whole day feel lighter. These 3 rituals add up to 25 minutes. You probably spend more time scrolling through social media before bed. The difference is that social media leaves your brain more activated. These rituals calm your nervous system, reduce cortisol, and set the stage for quality sleep. So, to recap what you've learned, morning routines are consequences of well-managed nights. Waking up early means nothing if you slept poorly. Your brain needs closing rituals to shut off threat mode and allow real recovery. Small nightly decisions, repeated over a decade, create massive differences in career, relationships, and mental health. You don't need better productivity habits, just 3 rituals totaling 25 minutes: shutdown, decompression, and preparation. And you can test this over 30 days using objective metrics from your own life. The truth is simple. The productivity industry sells mornings because wake up at 5 a.m. fits on a book title. But real transformation happens when you decide how you're going to close out your days. And now, you know how. You need to protect your existing cognitive capacity, working to the point of exhaustion, going to sleep without processing the day, sacrificing recovery for additional productivity, generates cumulative neurological deficit. The nervous system progressively compensates for that deficit. Implement the 10-minute shutdown ritual. Before bed, write down 3 completed tasks. Write 1 sentence stating your intention for the following day. Nightly processing organizes that information. The subsequent wake-up delivers increased cognitive clarity. The change results from aligning with biological processes, not from resisting them. If this video shifted your perspective on productivity, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you in the next video.